Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
What's good, college football fans? It's your boy LiveWire with you. Alright, we got some pretty breaking news right here. Seems like the ACC could be in some trouble, because not only Florida State and Clemson, but Miami, North Carolina State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech all have had conversations with their lawyers to explore how to break the ACC grant of rights deal. And this goes back all the way to last year, especially when prayers up above for one Golden Blue dude who passed away this year. He's been pretty good at one of the guys that has been keeping up with the realignment and stuff like that. But nonetheless, this is something that, because with all the realignment, with all the TV deals that has been going, and the Pac-12 has not have a TV deal, there's been talk about Washington and Oregon leaving the Pac to go to the Big 12. Now, and then there's been talks about North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State leaving to go to the SEC, and everybody else go to probably the Big 12, and some go to the Big 10, and Miami will be the only wild card. And then that leaves Notre Dame. What happens with Notre Dame, or what happens with the other rest of the ACC teams, because they will have to build a school. Now, according to Ross Dillinger from Sports Illustrated, he wrote that a summit of 7 schools in the 14-member conference has coincided over what many have them described as an unattainable situation. Officials from the 7 schools led by Florida State and Clemson have met at a handful of times over the past several months, and their lawyers examining the grant of rights to determine how unbreakable it is. Per the grant of rights, each ACC school gives ownership of its broadcast rights to the league in a deal with ESPN that runs to 2036. If a school breaks the deal, the ACC will continue to own the TV rights of any of that school home games according to the contract. So pretty much, if these teams do break the deal, the ACC will continue to have rights to their home games. They still will be able to show their home games, I guess, until the contract is over, per se. Now, there's never been an even playing field in major college sports, and thanks to the new television deals that are coming down the pipe with the SEC and Big Ten, the gulf is widening. A new super conference era feels all but inevitable. And this is what we've been talking about all last year, about how that these super conference, when the commissioner for the Big 12, before he left, how he got USC and UCLA to come over there. Then all of a sudden, the SEC got Texas and Oklahoma to come there, and they're looking for more teams to build eventually it's going to come down to 2 powerful conferences, the Big 10 and the SEC, and probably our third conference, like the Big 12. I don't see, now the only way this could be this could be stopped is if the Pac and the ACC merge. But the commissioner, the commissioner for the ACC is so not good. I think if you had a commissioner in the ACC that really could push to try to get a better TV deal, it probably could help a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then the thing about it is that it would benefit a lot of the teams, give them more money, and that's what it's all about right now. It's more money. It talks about more money that could potentially help the conference, and I just don't see it happening. Now, in the case of the ACC, the dollars and cents speak for themselves. Per Dillinger, the members, its member schools could make $30 million per year, less than the SEC and the Big Ten per appears in 2026. No matter how much Clemson and ACC more historic powers would likely to be elsewhere, the conventional wisdom was that the conference grant of rights was basically a fail-safe. And the thing about it is, if you look at the landscape of college football right now, especially with NIL deals, the transfer portal, college teams are trying to keep up. And how can they keep up and compete if they still being in the same conference? Now, you look at Miami, Florida State, and Clemson right now. You could pretty much say North Carolina also holding weight in that conference. But you got to think about competition, the money and revenue, and at the same time, TV exposure. You looking at what the TV exposure is going to be for the SEC. You look at the TV exposure is going to be for the Big Ten. And you sit yourself and see all this money dashing out, and you like, well, I want to be a part of it. But your commissioner is not even helping you at no point in time to say, well, hey, we need to do something. See, when the ACC and the Big Ten and the Pac-12 formed an alliance a couple of years ago, they thought it was a fail-safe too, until the Big Ten shocked them and broke away from it all. And that left the Pac-12 scrambling, because the Pac-12 right now still don't have a TV deal. They still ain't doing nothing that they need to do. You know what I'm saying? So now that is a dilemma, because if you merge the two conferences and got a new TV deal that could have helped, then that could have put pressure on the Big 12. Now the Big 12 looking like they trying to get more teams from the Pac-12 to join their conference. So all of this is going to come to a head. You already look at next year in 2024 that they're going to have the 12 playoff college 12 playoff scenario that's going to happen. And then you got to think teams going to want to be a part of that. And it's the competitiveness of that field is going to really garner a lot of teams to make. And some say that it could be a 24 or 36 mega conference. And if the SEC was to come to 36, guess what what's going to happen? They won't need a college playoff routine, because guess what they would do? They're definitely going to end up having their own playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Big Ten. If they go up to 24, 36, they'll end up having their own playoffs. Then guess what? The BCS probably won't be no more, because you're not going to need them. So now, Andre Otterson on Twitter, he replied and said, hard to say given how far ahead. The Big Ten is dollars too. His TV contract is up for negotiation. 3. How much interest UCLA would have had in the ACC had the league put on a full court press. The question now is what happens moving forward. That's gonna be pretty good. And he also wrote that said, is anyone naive to think conversations are not happening outside ACC conference calls? Of course they are happening. Of course not. But the ACC believe it has what it needs to keep things together with its grant of rights. The underscore to this point, currently the withdrawal fee will stand to $120 million. And I think these teams would honestly, I think these teams would basically don't care. They'll pay that just to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? He also wrote Andrea Addison. He also wrote that the part could be litigated. The grant of rights is where things get challenging. Any departing school would have to pay the withdrawal fee plus forfeit its media rights and the ability to have home games and some non-conference games air on TV in all sports through 2026. Well, guess what? If they need to join another conference by that time and they still could do that, hey, then who cares? You know what I'm saying? Who cares? Just getting out of the grant of rights would be a great thing. And I think if the ACC could replace these teams, it would be hard. It will be hard. Word used to describe the grant of rights to me is in the last weeks include rigid, really good legal document and the possibility of going to court to get out of it. It's a legal battle of all time. Well, I guess these teams probably looking and trying to push the ACC to renegotiate their contract deal, make them try to go after some teams to join the conference and give them some more money. If not, they're going to try to find a way out. Either this year or next year or whatever the case might be. They're going to be able to get out of it. We know that in 2026, the ACC signed rights extension through 2035 and 36 academic year. The conference may be sacrificing potential revenue, but it also might have an ironclad means of survival. So, Dillinger also wrote that most attorneys describe the grant of rights agreement as airtight. Well, it depends. Now, ESPN could the grant of rights is with ESPN. ESPN could basically let them out if they wanted to. They could probably let them out or say, hey, we'll rework your deal, but go to the commissioner and say, you got to add more teams in there. That's why I look at it. So, me personally, I just feel like right now, this is probably one of the most. It's going to be a battle because we have heard a lot. You know what I'm saying? Also, Reddit college football. A reader asks what an ACC draft will look like if the conference blows up. Here's some answers. So this is where he posted. He said, Florida State keeps the Florida market. Knows Big Ten is not taking Miami. The Big Ten. I guess the Big Ten, North Carolina, big market. Good teams, academic and major. SEC would take Clemson for the Deep South. The big trade, the big trades down and draft and deals the pick to the Big 12, and the Big 12 takes Miami and a shocker gets a nice media market and travel partner for USC. Yes, because USC will be joining the Big 12. So it makes sense for Miami to go to the Big 12. And I said this before, Miami could either fit in the Big 10 or the Big 12, and they don't have to have no part of the SEC, and then they could play some decent competition there, and then they could recruit a little bit better. Gets, like I said, they gets a nice media market and travel for USA. Miami camp looks dejected. Florida and FAU are laughing at, I guess, whatever. SEC gets Virginia Tech. Big gets Virginia. The big trade to big Georgia Tech. The Big 12. I guess whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much on that because it's just whatever it is. But Jim Phillips, they said that Brent Murphy from Twitter said that the ACC athletic director emerged with a 4-hour meeting with Commissioner Jim Phillips just now in Amelia Island and said they not allowed to talk to the media today. So that means they definitely are been some talks. Definitely, they looking to leave. So I'm hoping that something happens, and pretty much, I pretty much think that all of these teams could be leaving, going elsewhere. So, but who knows? Who knows what can be right now? Who knows what can be right now? I just think that at some point in time, Jim Phillips gonna have to step in and see what he could do to keep these teams there, because right now these teams ain't playing, and that's it, all you need is 7 to break the grant of rights. That's all you need to vote to break the grant of rights. You don't need it anymore. And if these teams vote to break the grant of rights, guess what's gonna happen? These teams don't care about paying that money. They don't care about paying that. They don't care about paying that money to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So then what? Then what? It's what it is. So, but I think that the Big Ten probably will get USC and Virginia. Clemson and Florida State will go to the SEC. The Big 12 will get Virginia Tech and NC State. Miami will be the wild card. I think Miami will definitely be in the Big 12. So there you have it. Leave your thoughts on this whole realignment situation. The grant of rights with the with the ACC. So continue to like, comment, subscribe. If any news break more about college football and the ACC and the grant of rights, I'll definitely bring it to you. I'm sure if you listen to Locked On ACC, they've probably been talking about it a little bit more. So who knows? But until then, guys, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out.